Hey everybody, and welcome to my class review of the Disc Priest. So this is the second one, second class review I've done now. I've just done the Prop Paladin, which has seemed oddly popular. So yeah, I guess that's incentive enough to crack on with the Disc Priest. So where to start? Let's start with the changes, the main changes. So Power Word Shield no longer has a cooldown. That's kind of the main change, really. So instead of using Plea, we're going to be using Power Word Shield, which ties in quite well with our Mastery, but we'll go over the Mastery after the changes. Rapture's obviously changed as well. So Rapture now increases the amount that Power Word Shield absorbs. So if you were to, let's say just theoretically, you were to use a Power Word Shield just on its own, and it absorbs, I don't know, 4,000 or 5,000. Using it with Rapture could buff that up to about 8,000 or 9,000. So that's pretty much what it does. And Rapture not having a Power Word Shield not having a cooldown, it's yeah, you can just spam it, which is awesome. So that's going to be your main way of applying Atonement, really. Apart that, and is it Power Word Radiance, the big fucker that AoEs everyone? I think it's that. That applies 5 atonements. That's the other one you'll be using as well to apply the atonements. So the other one is Power Word Fortitude's back. Real simple. You guys probably know that already. It's just a stamina buff, a health buff, really. So yeah, you're just gonna use that as soon as you go into a dungeon or a raid. That's pretty much it. Holy Nova, for some reason, Disc Priests now have Holy Nova. Not really sure why. I haven't actually used it once since I found it in my spellbook. I've put it on my action bar, but yeah, I haven't used it at all. I don't really know what it's there for. You don't need it at all. You really don't need it. So next, okay. Desperate Prayer has been added. Again, normally only a holy spell, but it's now in the disc layout as well. So that's just a self-heal for quite a lot. I think it's like 25% of your health. So that's just going to be an old shit button. It is instant as well, so no casting. So if you can tie that in with the whole global cooldown thing. I haven't checked if it's on the global cooldown, I probably should. But let's just say it is. If you can tie that in for a quick self-heal, then that's one less person you have to worry about with healing. So it's a nice little addition. So Power of the Dark Side. Okay, this sounds pretty edgy. I don't know, it sounds kind of dark. It's probably from the DC universe. So this, let me have a read of this here. So I did this without a script. I tried a script for the Prop Paladin guide, and I couldn't juggle between the two, so I'm just gonna freestyle this and just hope for the best. So Power of the Dark Side. Shadow Word Pain has a chance to empower your next penance, with Shadow increasing its effectiveness by 50%. So that's pretty good if you're going to use it directly on a friendly target, so that's 50% extra healing from it. Or you can use it on an enemy, and that's 50% healing going out to potentially everybody else, because you should theoretically have Atonement on everyone. So it's a win-win. It's pretty good anyway. The Mastery. So Mastery is now Grace. And what this does, it's your healing and absorption is increased by a percentage on targets with Atonement. So again, it's just a flat-out healing and absorption increase, because theoretically you're going to have your Atonement up on everyone. So yeah, it's just a nice little buff there. So another spell that's been added, Sins of the Many. I really wanted this to be good. I really wanted it to be good, but it's just not. Your damage is increased by up to 12%, diminishing for each ally affected by your Atonement. Again, you're going to be having as many Atonements up as you can get. So let's say potentially in raid scenarios, when you get 2 Holy Word Radiances going out, you got 10 people with Atonement on, and then maybe you throw some more Atonements out and you use, oh fuck it, what's it called? There's a spell that increases the the duration of Atonement, we'll get to it later on anyway in the talents. But if you use that as well, you're going to potentially have a ton of Atonements up at the same time. So it's going to almost cancel itself out, which is, even if it's, say it drops 1% per target affected by Atonement, you're easily going to have 12 Atonements up in a raid. So it's kind of cancels itself out. It punishes you for doing what you should be doing as a Disc Priest, and that is applying Atonement. So yeah, it could have been really, really good, but it's not. On to the next one, Contrition. I think that's how you say it. When you heal with Penance, everyone with your Atonement is healed for a percentage of your spell power. Now, this is pretty good, and I think I took this one, and we will get to this in a minute. When I have a look at the talent tree, I'll remember what I've taken. But yeah, it's really good. It is really, really strong. It's kind of like an additional healing from Penance going out. And I'm not sure if that is affected by Power of the Dark Side, which increases, obviously, the amount of healing Penance does. I don't think it does. But regardless, it's a nice little addition. So there's Lenience as well. Atonement reduces damage taken by 3%. That's okay, but 3% is nothing. It's absolutely nothing. And when we have a look at in a minute the other talents on that tier, it's unfortunately not really that good compared to the other two. So just the final one, and again, I really, really wanted this to be good because it looks fucking amazing. So the next one is Luminous Barrier. So Luminous Barrier creates a shield on all allies within 40 yards, absorbing damage on each of them for 10 seconds. Now this is great, but for the amount that it absorbs, compared to the 3-minute cooldown, again compared to the other talents on that tier, it's just not strong enough. But it's quite nice. It's I guess if you're going for like a more kind of simple style of gameplay, it might be for you. It really depends. There's the great thing about the Disc Priest that I've found going into BFA is it has 2 builds. So it's got a passive build where things potentially will proc for you, or they will constantly be in effect, and just makes you that little bit stronger. Or there is the build where you actively have to time your spells and use them at the right time, but you will pull far ahead of the passive Disc Priest. It's a lot stronger, a lot stronger. But so it kind of rewards those who are maybe a little bit better at the Disc Priest, but it also offers an option for, if you're new to the Disc Priest, go for the passive style of play, and you know, it's potentially could be a nice little introduction for you. And when you feel as though that you're ready, you can try out the harder version. So that is everything there with regards to the changes. Let's have a look at the talent tree now. Okay, so let's have a look at the talent choices. So on the first tier, we've got Castigation, I believe that's how you say it. Penance fires 1 additional bolt of holy light over its duration. Now this is okay. It's another hit of Penance, which is pretty good, seeing as Penance has not got a very long cooldown, and when you consider that it ties into the other talent that you know, pulses out additional healing with penances. If you're gonna hit another penance out, that's more healing. So it's pretty good. But with the other choices, Twist of Fate, after healing a target below 35% health, you do a 20% increased damage and 20% increased healing for 10 seconds. It's a great kind of little passive oh shit button. So that's pretty handy. So that is what we would take if you were going for the introduction to a Disc Priest. You were going for the passive style. That's the one that you would go for. Now, if you want to test yourself a little bit more and kind of pull away from other priests, who doesn't want to pull away from priests? Jesus Christ, they're terrifying. Now, have you guys seen them in PvP? Every time I've seen a Disc Priest take on a Fire Mage, the Disc Priest has won every time. That's scary, but that's where they are right now. So, I don't know what that says about the Fire Mage, but anyway. So Schism, I believe this is how you say it. This attacks the enemy's soul with a surge of shadow energy, dealing shadow damage and increasing damage that you deal to the target by 40% for 9 seconds. Very strong. Only a 24-second cooldown, which is obviously going to be reduced with haste. And if you're opening up on a boss, so just before you all pull, Holy Word Radiance, you're getting Atonement out on everyone. Then you're hitting, and again, we'll get to this spell a little bit later on. You're going to hit Evangelism, which extends the duration of all of your active atonements by 6 seconds. So you've increased the duration that those atonements are out. Then you hit Schism. Again, I fucking hope I'm saying this right. And then just go to town on the boss. Nobody is going to die. So I think for 10 seconds, 12 seconds, I'm not sure how long the atonement will be up. Everybody's got atonement on them. There aren't any shields out at the moment, so obviously because we haven't really factored that in, unless you pre-shield people, and then Radiance, and then go for it. So, but for that duration, the boss is going to be taking a shit ton of damage, and everyone's got atonement. As long as you kind of cycle through and renew it with either another Holy Word Radiance, if you haven't got the time to be power word shielding people to reapply those Radiance. Reapply the atonement. What I would do is, as you notice them starting to get low, just throw out an atonement between each spell. So you'll do a smite, then a power word shield, and then a smite, and then a power word shield, and then penance, power word shield, and just keep doing that to kind of keep the party topped up. That's probably your best way of getting those shields out and keeping atonement on everyone. And if it does get to a moment where it starts getting a bit messy, again, another Radiance just to get all of those atonements out there. And I've noticed that Evangelism comes off of cooldown really quickly, so you can always use that to, again, extend it and continue the duration. So yeah, Schism's a great choice. So the next row, I always take Angelic Feather. I would go through the others, but I can see that we're quickly running out of time on this video, because I'm watching the footage as I narrate this here. So I'm still getting used to narrating, guys, so I do apologise if it's a bit rubbish, but I'm doing my best. Hopefully it'll feel a little bit more natural soon. So yes, Angelic Feather is what I would go for on the next one there. Now, Body of Soul potentially looks really good because it applies a speed boost to those that have your Power Word Shield on, and Power Word Shield has no cooldown, but it can only occur every 3 seconds. So it's not like you can just spam everyone and have infinite kind of running speed going on, which would be ridiculous in PvP Capture the Flag. So I'm glad that's not a thing. But yeah, I'd always go for Angelic Feather, guys. It's real simple. Just put a feather on the ground, and then, you know, if the tank wants to run off ahead, you can always catch him. So the next one, Shield Discipline is okay. When your Power Word Shield is completely absorbed, you restore a percentage of your maximum mana. Mind Breaker, again, it's just a stronger Shadow Fiend, and Power Word Solace. So strike an enemy with heavenly power, dealing holy damage and restoring 1% of your maximum mana. And the thing is, that's got a 12-second cooldown on it. Now, the thing is, I would take it if it also counts as an additional kind of, it'll convert into atonement healing, which I believe it does. So it's good for that. But then when you consider that everything potentially is going to have a power word shield on, you're going to be getting a lot more mana back from Shield Discipline. Now, I would take Shield Discipline if you're finding mana to be an issue, if you're struggling to kind of keep your mana topped up. If you're okay, if you're finding it okay, then go for Power Word Solace, because it's going to convert into additional healing. So again, Shield Discipline, kind of passive style of gameplay. Power Word Solace, it's an extra spell you need to consider and juggle into your rotation, but you will pull away with it. The next tier, tier 60, take whatever you want. I tend to go for Psychic Voice. It's just a reduced cooldown on Psychic Scream. Does help when, let's say, Fade's on cooldowns, and you need to drop aggro, you can just fear. And by the time they've feared and you've run off because you've used Angelic Feather and they're still running after you, you can fade and drop aggro. So yeah, that's kind of the best one there. For my style of gameplay anyway, it's completely up to you guys what you want to do. So next here, Sins of the Many, Contrition, I really hope I'm saying that right. and then Shadow Covenant. Now, Shadow Covenant potentially could be really good because it draws on the power of Shadow to heal the target and 4 injured allies within 30 yards for quite a lot. But then it puts an absorption shield on them. Sorry, puts an absorption shield on them, which absorbs that, healing. So you get that initial burst of healing, but then you need to heal extra to get back to the point in which you're able to heal again. So sorry if you can hear cars and fans and stuff in the background. It's crazy hot right now, so I need the fan on and the window open. So I'm sorry if you can hear that in the background. So again, Sins of the Many I wanted to be really good, but it's definitely viable, but it's just not really my favourite, should we say. The contrition, when you heal with penance, everyone with your atonement is healed by a percentage of your spell power. Now again, if you've got atonement up on everyone, that's going to be stronger. So that just really depends on are you juggling your atonement correctly? Do you have atonement up on everyone? If so, that's probably going to be stronger. Sins of the Many, again, it does rely on people being affected by your atonement, but in the other way. So if many people are affected by your atonement, that's going to be drawn back. Now I'd say that's probably better for PvP if you're doing 2s or 3s, because you're only potentially going to have 2 or 3 people affected by atonement healing, so that might pull away there. But in PvE, I'd say go contrition. I can't wait to have to stop having to say that. Okay, on to the next one. Purge the Wicked. It's not really that good. Divine Star is good if you are if your team is staying together. So, but when is that ever happening? When is that ever happening in battlegrounds or raids instances? They're never stood together. So yeah. If you're in a well-organised group and you're all on voice chat together, I can't wait for the voice chat, by the way, guys. Voice chat in Warcraft is going to be a shit show. I can't wait for it. I can't wait to hear the rage. So, yeah, that's potentially good, that one. I always go for Halo. The only issue I'm having with Halo is because it's quite a large, got quite a large radius. I tend to aggro people, extra enemies, which is a bit of a nightmare, but... so the final one, we've got Lenience. Atonement reduces the damage taken by 3%. Again, passive starter gameplay. It is potentially viable. Now, I wonder if that would stack. So let's say you took 3 Discipline Priests to a raid, which I don't see why you wouldn't, because they're amazing. If you took 3 Discipline Priests to a raid, would that be a 9% damage reduction all round? Or would that be 3% of 3% of 3%? I don't know. I don't know. I'll have to research into that. But anyway, it's okay. It is viable. Again, it's a very passive starter gameplay. Luminous Barrier. Again, it's a really, really nice barrier. And in raids, it might pull away because it creates a shield on all allies within 40 yards. So if the boss is about to do a big AoE hit that's going to hit everybody in the raid, that might be really good. Really, really strong. Evangelism is the one I go for. Extend the duration of your atonement. It just means you can focus more on damaging the boss or the mobs, so you're contributing to the damage, you're getting things killed faster, but at the same time, because you're able to spend more time attacking, it's because more people have atonement staying up on them for longer, so people are getting healed for longer. So yeah, again, it's another spell that you have to cast, but if you're not scared of kind of going for that slightly harder starter gameplay where you need to keep track of your spells and what you're casting and when you're casting them, preempting big attacks from the bosses, then yeah, I'd say go for that one. So that's the talents. That's all of the talents done. Let's have a look at the stat priority. So no surprise, it's haste. You want to be stacking haste first, especially when you consider if you've got atonement out on everyone in your party and you're fighting a boss that's, let's say, you know, they're like a council kind of boss, there's 3 of them. If you get your Shadow Word Pains on them, that is ticking damage. The faster it ticks, the faster people are going to be healed. and the more pains you've got out, the faster they're all ticking, they're all healing. So it's like a renew essentially. Shadow Wave Pain just kind of loosely translates into a renew on targets, and you can have multiple ones because you can just dot multiple enemies. So that's a really good one. So yeah, obviously haste, crit as well. You want crit. That's going to be coming in after haste. After crit, you want to go mastery, and then after mastery, versatility. So that's basically that. Now, if we can just, I went over the, I haven't done the mastery yet, have I? Okay, so I have done mastery. I have done the mastery. All right, don't worry, guys. It's like 11:30 at night, okay? And I've been meaning to get this done for so long. But that's pretty much it. That is pretty much the disc freeze. So again, it's great. 2 styles of gameplay. You've got the passive style, nice little introduction to the disc priest, or you've got the slightly more intricate style of gameplay. It's very strong. I can't see big raid teams not taking at least one disc priest. So yeah, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for watching. Let me know what you think about the disc priest below, and my next guide will be up a lot sooner. So I'm going for 1 a week at the moment, guys, and I'm going to try and push them out a little bit faster because BFA is right around the corner. So thank you everybody so much for watching. Take care, stay safe, stay sexy, and don't aggro.